Welcome back to my channel. This is a reading for Gemini for the month of 2023, March. So I did previously do a read for you, Gemini, and the energy was pretty heavy, so I wanted to just flesh it out a little bit more, see if much had changed. For some of you, as I say, this may not resonate. This is just for those, of course, that it does resonate for. Check back. There may be another read that does have more resonance for you. But either way, for those that are that can relate to what's happening in the month of March, it seems like there's a lot of soul searching. So I wanted to pull a few more cards that would be more positive and what was coming in, as well as, clearly there are some that are going to be dealing with some very heavy issues. So I did pull quite a few cards here just because I thought you just deserved a little extra, given some of the things that might be turbulent in your mind at this time. But what I'm seeing here is, for sure you're going to be going through some heavier energy in March. And again, I should mention, not everybody. Certainly some of you have already done the work, and this won't pertain to you in this month. Others, this may be something that's more relevant as you're moving through it into March and April. Timelines will differ for everybody. Again, it's just general energy, so you can always map out a new course, based on your actions, and certainly moderate your thinking and that kind of thing, and just be aware of your triggers and all of those things to be able to sort of repattern yourself so that you're not in a stuck position. Because the whole point of life is that it's short in a lot of respects. And so, to make the most of the time that you do have, because the time is eaten up very quickly. So just want to help you to sort of push through it, whatever the heavier energies are, as best you can. Okay, so I pulled for quite a few decks here. Archangel Power Tarot, the Angel Wisdom Tarot, Radley Valentine, and for most of those, and then there's the Energy Oracle, Sandra Ann Taylor, and I also have a Colette Baron Reed Oracle of the Seven Energies, and I've also got the other one I will read from the book directly because it's a heavier book. It's not one I tend to use very often, and it's not because it's not any good. It's very good. It's just that it really will take some time to kind of to learn it and phrase it in such a way that makes sense. But it's the Osho Zen Tarot. Love it. It definitely has some really good cards of wisdom. So anyway, I'll just start right in. Again, March 2023 for Gemini. So we'll start out with the card of bearing fruit. So this, of course, is the oracle of the seven energies, Colette Baron Reed. And like I say, there's a gift coming in from the universe at some point here. I suspect it's toward the end of March for you, but it looks like there's a lot of seeds of something that's been planted. And so because of that, I just want you to know that things may look a little bit challenging at this time in a lot of emotional areas, but there is still something that is kind of birthing yet with this bearing fruit card. So it is the tree of life, and it's also a reminder to ourselves, what do you want to bear fruit to? So you can put in a lot of hard work to a creative project, or you can put out a lot of energy into ruminating over a particular idea or issue, and either way you're going to manifest those things into form in some way. So it's really about being, taking careful stock of your feelings and your belief systems and all the things that kind of make up your internal world at this time, because whatever you mirror in, you are mirroring out as well. And that will be seen in some of the other cards with the Magician card as well, Magician and Mirror. So anyway, again, it reflects on, the way that you think and feel about yourself and your world. All correlate. They do project energy outward. And certainly when you have a lot of ruminating ideas, those kinds of things, the universe doesn't understand that these energies are considered negative or positive. It just realizes that you are trying to draw in more of that same energy. So that's why it's important to be, whatever you're trying to bring forward in a fertile way and build, it really needs to be something that really lights you up. It has to be something that you are willing to pay a lot of attention to. And again, you can pay a lot of attention to things that get in your way, or you can pay a lot of attention to things that, build your world and grow things for you. So that's really what that card of bearing fruit represents. Okay, so then we're going into, sorry, just trying to make some room here. the Spirit of Gratitude, and I think that one's pretty straightforward. It's really, you know, a card where you have to take stock of the things that are very important to you at this time. Realize your support systems. You know, there's enough of the world out there that's willing to knock you down and you know, take skin. So, I mean, it's really, you know, you trying to look at the things in your world that have built you up to this point, and remember that you were a part of all those people at different points in your life that you know, believed in you, and whether they're still there or not, it helped to, you know, build you up in some regard, so that you can actually look back on your life and express some gratitude for those connections, and for those people believing in you, and for their help, or their you know, their faith in some regard, you know, to your path, that kind of thing, because these are the things that help to activate us and kind of keep us, you know, going in the direction that is that we were trying to produce. Again, sometimes we get a little lost along the path, other obstacles show up, and we don't have the knowledge or the motivation to or the energy to sort of deal with a certain situation. We put it to the back of our minds, and then things, you know, when it's in the recess of your mind, you know, problems can sort of compound around it, and you're still not getting to the root of the issue. So these are the things that unfortunately, you know, kind of surface at the times when we feel that we need to have more support, but we're starting to fall back into, you know, things that were a focus of attention that we couldn't resolve in the past, now all of a sudden uproot when we're about to, you know, transcend into another area of our life that is one of growth. And that's usually when you're about to make a major change in your life, is when all of these kind of victimization thoughts and all of that kind of uproot again. So those are just the things that you should be aware of, is that these obstacles will fall away. And I had pulled a few other cards in April, but I will get to April's cards here for you as well. But right now, just dealing with March, the April cards definitely show that a lot of you are working through all that energy. It's already done because of March. March was sort of the most impactful month for kind of dealing with your dark shadows or your dark sides, or the things that are your triggers, the poor self-talk, all of that. But I feel like this process is going to be one of, you know, things will just start to fall away when you really focus your attention on the things that you can appreciate in your life, that you did complete, things that you did successfully, things that you enjoyed to do. Whether it actually manifested into, you know, something that was big in the world, or something that was just small that you enjoyed to do, it was progress that you made, you know, to kind of take your skill set into, you know, you had improved on your skill set, and that's really the important thing to remember. Again, whether something actually improved or not, whether something improved or not to the level of satisfaction that you wanted is not as relevant as the fact that there's growth and progress, period. Because these are the things that you can be thankful for. I mean, a lot of things get in our way that really don't have a lot to do with us. If we, you know, a parent became sick and we took the time to focus on that person, or if we uprooted and moved and had to restart in our lives, these are all things that kind of set us back. It's not to say that these are obstacles that you couldn't surmount, but certainly, you know, love relationships, anything that was kind of eating up your emotional time, all of that. These are things that you had to kind of grow through to become a better you. So even if you're, you know, like I said, your ultimate gift or your ultimate relationship or your ultimate talent didn't reach a level of success that you had hoped to at this time, I mean, it's not to say that it won't reroute in some other way and, you know, become successful in some other path, but still related to what you're doing, if that makes any sense. But anyway, okay, so when I talk about the Oracle's gift, of course, that is sort of the gift coming in from the universe, and it's really sparked with lots of potential, and it's definitely about being determined. It's definitely one of divine guidance and you trusting your intuition at this time. So in March, I feel like you really can ask for some kind of deeper guidance. The deeper guidance will help you to get through, to find some of those answers here. And again, sometimes those answers come in forms of, you know, whether you had a dream when you were sleeping, whether you were meditating and there was an insight or a burst of idea or something that came through, whether it's a song that came on the radio, something that helped to connect you to, you were started to reminisce, and then it put you back into a space of motivation because you've got some kind of sign or some kind of uh, some kind of familiarity or whatever that helped you to kind of reset. And I think that's what you need to do at this time, is you're looking for something to reset your mind. And again, it's creating a plan of action. It's taking action. Those are the things that help to spark you. But again, it's also about taking the time because when we get stuck in that rumination space, I mean, that's where you're really locked in, and that's where you're not really making the best use of, your time, because you know how the old adage goes, practice makes perfect. Well, that also kind of stands true to practice makes permanent. So whatever you're consistently playing over in your head, it's like playing an instrument of some sort, a flute, a piano, a guitar, whatever. These are poor habits. If you're not playing well, if you're deliberately trying to focus on the wrong key that you're pressing, then you won't be successful in your approach to get out of a self-defeating pattern. So, your approach is sorry, your approach, should be one that is a little more objective. So you're stepping back to look at the roadblock and then try to, if you were to talk to someone else and not see yourself as here's somebody. You're looking into a mirror, you're looking at yourself, and you're saying to the other person, it's kind of a sort of swapping a chair situation, where you're actually saying to the other person, which is really you're up against this roadblock. How would you best deal with this problem? Don't try to personalize it, try to be objective about it, so that you can make progress. If you were talking to your child and they were going through the same issue that you are, what is the most successful kind of lesson that could be gained from a situation, and how could you use that lesson to make progress in the future or in this particular month? Some things you can't have an answer for, and you have to just find a way to accept it. And so by accepting it, it doesn't mean that you are saying it was right or wrong. By accepting it, it allows you to move on and put in some productive time into behavior that is more effective, and it does take the time and effort to change the way you're thinking and the way that you're acting. Things aren't automatic. It is a pattern that you have to change, and the only way that patterns change is by doing them on a regular basis, and that's practice makes perfect. It is, you brush your teeth every day, so that you did have the ability to, implement that into a routine. And it's the same thing too with anything that you're starting new. It's creating a new method. You don't forget it necessarily because you already have the lesson, but you have enough information to be able to go forward and put some energy into this new method and make the new method more automatic and not the old method of, ruminating over the roadblock. So it's about really putting a firm commitment behind a particular situation so that you want to change, and able for you to recognize that, you are committing to yourself. You're not committing to a particular situation. You always have to commit to yourself first to do the work, and then you can realize what it is that you want to accomplish. A lot of the dull work and the things that we don't like to do are the things we try to put off, but you have to remind yourself that the benefit of doing that work will bring, a better result over the long term. So again, you want to try to get rid of those self-defeating behaviors, and because those self-defeating behaviors, the longer you're ruminating, also create secondary gains. And so it becomes cathartic, seeing yourself as a victim, but it's so disempowering that it also takes away your ability to motivate yourself and satisfy, other parts of yourself that really can help you to, take advantage of positive energy that could be right beside you that you're overlooking because you're too stuck. A lot of things are right beside us and we don't see them until we're ready to see them. And again, able to be ready to see them, you have to be able to relax, change your thinking, open up, have patterns or have moments where you're just not thinking about the problems. you know, when you're going for a walk, you know, when you're in action playing an instrument. These are Zen moments. Those are the things where you don't necessarily always have to be doing meditation and slowing yourself down in that way, but whatever activity that you do is puts you into a state of flow. And once you're into that state of flow, that meditative process is projected into the activity, basically, is what I was trying to say. So again, it's, you know, practice makes perfect, but practice also makes permanent, more of the behavior. So whatever the behavior is that you would see someone successfully dealing with in your situation is the one that you want to project into yourself. And most really, manifestation is really all about that. It's about, you know, not believing that you can't. It's always about believing that you can. If you're already in that space of I can do something, then you're already in the space of I'm going to draw more of that same energy to me, because I believe that I'm, not that I am capable, but that I'm in the moment capable. Because if you say, oh, I can be capable of that, then that's a future sort of statement, and you really need to bring it into more of the present moment. So anyway, the outcome of what I'm saying here really is try to remember there's secondary gains that you're gaining by persisting with a particular event, condition, thought pattern, behavior. And so you want to make sure that you are talking to yourself as you would talk to your own child, or someone that, you know, you can objectively, you know, introduce some kind of resolve to the situation. So hopefully that made some sense. Okay, so we'll get into the next cards here. So the ones that I have down here, I will read these a little bit after, but this is the Zen Osho cards here with mind, traveling, and then we also have turning in. I'll go back to those ones there. So right now, I'm just going to shift them off to the side here. And then we also have the cards of Healer of the Ages, and then we've got Indecision and Magician in the Mirror. So these ones are, actually trying to figure, oh yeah, that was the Sandra Ann Taylor. So these ones are the Sandra Ann Taylor. And so we'll start out with Magician in the Mirror. I did mention sort of briefly there that whatever you're internalizing is, you know, being projected outward here as well. But starting with the Healer of the Ages, I mean, indicated in a couple of different cards here, you're definitely in a space where you have protection while you're going through this heavier sort of energy. But it definitely, and again, some of you, this might be further out. Some of you may have already gone through this. Timelines will be different. You're all not making decisions on the same dates. So just a, you know, tidbit there. But anyway, this is definitely about you're in a place of healing. So this does impact your health, and it does impact your ability to kind of feel vibrant. And I feel at this time you're just in that place of trying to restore, unblock yourself, whether this is physical, mental, or emotional. You know, it's being open to this renewal process, and just at your deepest level, you're in this stage of healing is where we're at. So we're going to scoot past that, and we will go into the next card of Indecision. So the card of Indecision, again, this is really one of you kind of being on the precipice of a mountain, let's say, or, you know, on the cliffside trying to make some kind of indecision. I don't take that literal. I'm not meaning cliffside as in jumping off a cliff. That's not at all what I would ever advise anyone to do. I mean, life can be challenging, life can be hard, but it also makes you a better person, and you can be a lot more sympathetic and helpful to those that are going through the same process, and there's always more than one. So this is where we have to help each other. So it's about making a choice, you know, to do the right thing for you, but it's also about making choices in life where you're looking at sort of two paths. You know, where do I go? How do I get there? You know, I'm feeling stuck. You know, I'm at a stalemate. I'm really in a place where I need to, I'm confused. I don't know what is the right thing to do. I don't feel comfortable in this path. So should I take the other path? And really, I would say that for the most part of all the cards that I see here, you know, there's so many cards of balance and just to persevere. It looks like you're on the right path. I don't think that you have to make that decision at this time. I feel like the decision will be made as you become more available to more positive energies. Because when you make a decision in a place when you're feeling stuck, that's very heavy and negative, we don't always make the best decisions when we're in that analysis paralysis place. So, if your self doubt is keeping you stuck, jumping into something entirely new without a lot of new positive energy coming in, it means you're making a decision based on old patterns, and that isn't necessarily going to bring you what you're looking for. So you have to find ways to kind of upscale your thought pattern, like I said, and become more positive before you make any real choice. Because this is, like I say, this is a time where you want to get clear on your own level of consciousness, bringing things to the surface so that you can deal with it. But also, these are fragmented energies. And if you're really confused, how are you going to move off into this new direction with any kind of, strong potential, because you're feeling fragmented. So your purpose, therefore, isn't going to have the same kind of personal power that you would have behind it if you were making it from a place where you felt, you had more support, you had more ideas, or you had a plan and things were structured out. So I think you can still write down plans toward a new direction, but I would say wait until you're able to make a more rational, or have more grounded information before you can kind of move ahead in this new direction. So Magician in the Mirror, this again is one of those places of projecting inward, projecting outward. So whatever you are taking inward is also going to manifest for you. So you're just being very careful again with your thoughts at this time, because this is really about using your true power and that knowledge, to make something happen. But again, your culminating energy here is what that is. And that energy should be one of, a passion project, a passion for yourself, or passion for your connections and support systems, and anything that helps you to give more structure and clarity. And again, basing all of your putting more of your time and energy behind things that are going to, as they say, turn base metals into gold, is how the card really depicts it. But you're transforming difficulties here is what's happening in this space. So this is about trying to find your destiny and direct your destiny and claim your power, and it's going forward with an intention. So again, you're still in that space, so give yourself a little bit of time there, but it's okay to make some plans, and then you can deliberate over those plans later when you're in a more positive space. Okay, so I'm also going to go through, these ones are the Angel Wisdom Tarot, Radley Valentine. So I'll just go through these. I do have some clarifiers on the bottom cards here, but we'll start out with this. Okay, so the end of a situation brings relief, sadness, or both. The opportunity for new happiness, a weight off your shoulders, the end of an addiction, or a melodramatic action. So 10 of Swords, you've finished a cycle. It's done. So you can now look forward to, and again, some of you, you still might be working through some of this energy, but overall, this is a place of having, gone full cycle with something. And it's been, one of arguments, one of betrayal, could be one of, a number of things here, but it definitely speaks to a lot of progress that had to be made to get to this place. So when I also see the Strength card and the Balance card and all of that out here, I mean, we're really talking about a very imbalanced time in your life that you're going through. Some of you are still in that energy here. And there's always kind of a renewal after this. So the energy is still trailing around you. That's one of a heaviness, but it is something that you're setting yourself free from. And again, you're in the tail end of it here. So by the end of March, I'm not saying everything is over, but it certainly speaks to you finding a certain sense of relief and release, because some of the energy is starting to change for you. And again, it's all about level of acceptance. So the end is come to, meaning that you're not dumping all of your connections and everybody who might have betrayed you. It's because life will always have those things that come into our lives. It's more about how do you deal with the energy. So you start setting boundaries, you limit your time and energy around those people. It's things like that, because it's once you've learned the lesson, it doesn't mean you cut everybody out of your life because you can't trust anymore. But it is certainly, those might be issues around that, but it's certainly more along the lines of, how do I accept that these are people that are still going through their lessons. These are people that are still going through their own pains. So the end simply means it's a situation where you've reached a conclusion in your life where you're just not going to allow yourself or your emotions to go down that track again. You've learned some sense of pain through that challenge, and so now it's relief. There's a sense of relief that comes in, because now you are prepared to protect, what you feel is significant in your life. Whether this is an idea, yourself, your own happiness. You're not giving up. This is you really having a very strong, active role in your own life and wanting to make the best of the situation. So again, you're drawing on your tomorrows, as I say, or as they say, you're believing in the moment here that, there's been some loss, and certainly there is something that is more drawing your attention, and you're letting go of something, and able to pursue this journey into tomorrow, as the card kind of depicts there. But, this is, again, it's a lot of energy around kind of a melodramatic sort of situation for you so there could still be some argument or something that's kind of arising here, that comes up with that Ten of Swords next to the Nine of Wands, because these are also cards indicating that you have a very strong reaction to something in particular, whatever that is for you. So again, try to temper your energy, because this is something that you're trying to change and become anew, so to speak. So the end of challenging times, again, all of this for the month of March, you are coming to the conclusion of all this hardship. Your life is about to change for sure. The end of challenging times, things are looking up, a welcome relief, finding your way to a peaceful place, the end of depression or illness, travel or relocation. So for a lot of you, this is just you needing to have a little bit of a break and, some kind of respite, whether you're taking off for a day or two or just going for a drive somewhere. There is some sense of this could give you a little bit of peace for a while, just to kind of clear your air, clear your head. And especially every single one of these cards connect here along this line. So you're in a place where you're ready to make some big changes. And again, it's not cutting off all the people in your world, because that's really not learning the lesson. That's just changing the environment. And sometimes you have to, if the environment is that negative and you have no support, and it's very, impedes your progress on a lot of different levels. But for those of you that do have, some significant supports in your situation, these are still supports. It's just that you might have to have some boundaries around your interactions. But it definitely speaks to the sun coming out. This is a brand new day. Things are changing in your life, and you're about to have a more optimistic viewpoint up ahead here. So again, a lot of you, this is happening in April, but for the moment, I see a lot of this energy just concluding. You're ready for a bit of a break. So again, this could indicate that timing is right. There's progress being made. It's the end of conflict and things and problems that were, that you've dealt with now. These are things that aren't going to trouble you in the future in the same way, because you have made some deep level of internal adjustment, in how you're dealing with the people, or how you're dealing with the aspects that you needed to change. You've changed internally and able to go forward. You have to change internally. Just changing your environment externally means that you'll take your same old bad behaviors or bad thought patterns or internal poor talk, that kind of thing, into the new situation, and that's not what you want to do. You really want to sort of reinvent yourself and shed the old belief systems in lieu of the progress that you've made. So this is you planning for the long term, abundance from past choices, pride in the success of your labors. Be patient as you decide what's next. So again, this is still that time of slowing it down. There is still progress that's being made further out, but it's okay to take a moment just to breathe, because things tend to get a lot busier once abundance starts coming through, and there is a lot of change that is going to be pending here, because so take that moment just to slow it down, enjoy it, and like I say, because you can still make the plans, write your goals down, your 3-year plan, 5-year plans, 10-year plan, whatever, and just have some milestone moments that you can highlight that would be on a bucket list, things that you want to achieve in your life. That's kind of the space that you would be in right now. So again, anything that's long-term planning is also about, you've got some kind of good, these are great cards for expansion and success, ships coming in, all of that. And it's really about the next phase, and just to have some patience, because you're going to derive a lot of self-satisfaction with whatever it is that you've been building here. There is some personal reward. Some of you, this might be involving travel here as well, because there's a couple of cards that speak to that. Could be traveling to, with regards to a business situation for some of you. But managing your resources wisely, extremes in how you give or receive money, time, or emotions, smart business choices, seeing things as black or white, and being charitable. So definitely cards indicating that you need to just slow it down, be a little practical this month. This is not a time for big changes. This is a time for you to slow it down and really make sense of what you need to do. So taking stock of your money, taking stock of your time, your energy, the resources, so that you actually know going forward what you actually have, so that you can implement it in the right areas. So there's a realistic strategy. And this is about strategizing to be able to move something ahead. So again, this is still that card of it's the Four of Pentacles. Basically, it's still a card of balancing. And it's just, again, there might be some debts, some things that you need to clear up, some things that need to be addressed before things kind of, move ahead. But again, it's looking at all the things that are around your centers of safety, or your, how do I put that? All the things that are security. Everything that's around your security, basically. So it's just trying to find the middle road to everything, because there's a lot of cards here about stay in balance, stay in balance. Don't acquire too much, extra here. This is about just being practical with money. Scale it down, and then things will open up here as the months proceed. But for the moment, scale it down. This is just really just smart money moves is, kind of where that's at. And it also kind of speaks to just being a little more closed off here as well in this month. Okay, so we're going to just bring forward the card of, actually, because I did the Strength card with a clarifier, let's do it this way. I'll put the Strength card above and then the clarifier below. So the Strength card says personal power and assertiveness portrayed with kindness, compassion that brings about forgiveness, realizing that you're stronger than you knew. So like I said, for those of you that were not feeling that you had the ability to get through something, know that you are someone who is a survivor. This is somebody who really has a lot of inner fortitude, a lot of strength, a lot of power through, and I don't mean in a nasty way. I mean, this is power through courage, compassion, taking on, your challenges in a way that, as you conquer things, you have more faith in yourself, and it's also you being able to handle issues that are more difficult up ahead here. So the fact that you can take on these tough decisions, take on your mindset at this time, and be sensitive towards yourself, is really a gift that you can use, as challenges arise. And we will always have new challenges. It's truly the game of life. This is you just being a lot more, because it gives you a sense of not just tenacity, but it also, other people look at you differently when you're in this space. Other people also, find their level of strength when they see someone else has gone before them to do the same. And I feel like you're one of these kind of leaders, Gemini. This is really, because it's very strong energy. And again, there's so many cards here as well in around balance. And the balance card is, of course, temperance, and this is really about restraining, kind of taking the moderate middle road. It's healing, it's transformational, and it's really a time where you're kind of balancing out your creative self and your problem solving, through your creativity. So you're restoring your own balance by transforming, could be Sagittarius energy here as well, but you're restoring your own energy by using that middle ground, that restraint in a particular situation. So a little melodrama maybe in the earlier part of March, but it is all starting to kind of move in a more positive direction as the month unfolds. And again, there's something around the balance card, you know, blending the ideas of others with your own to create something extraordinary, successful compromise, the power of diversity, self-control, patience, and balance. There is a lot here that you need to kind of remain tempered so that your tempers don't get out of get in the way of this progress that you're trying to make this month, because you have planted seeds here, and this is well planted seeds for your efforts. Investments will be coming through in the future, a need for patience. You're resting, allow this time for resting and planning for the future. It's just you with a lot of unnecessary worry. So this is energy you could be putting into yourself. How do you heal yourself? We eat better, we exercise, we give ourselves breaks, we have, consider our downtime. And especially too, I just wanted to add with the Strength card followed up by the Knight, it's romantic flirt. I don't feel like you're really open to romantic and flirty sort of energy, even though the card sort of depicts that. What I feel is that, is the sort of the latter part of it, a lack of balance in a relationship. So it feels like you've had to, a relationship may have been more the significant issue here that's kind of helped sort of throw things out of whack, but it's not to say that there isn't some balance being restored here, because again, the balance is in around, you're bringing through balance through things that you have already been building over time. We also have that there's some kind of new emotional experience, like something that's coming through that is going to just awaken your psychic awareness. Like whether you are somebody who really is involved in tarot in a deep way or not, it's following that gut instinct and following a path, because that is how you're going to resolve your issues or your conflicts with others. Is, the universe is giving you an option. It's giving you, again, it's just energies, whether you take it or not, but it's giving you the option to use information that's coming into you in a productive way so that you are controlling yourself in around conflict. So, for example, you can see somebody as they're not listening to me, and this is what's causing the conflict, or you can look at it from a different perspective and say, well, the person's going through their own issues. I'm not going to challenge them on this because I'm putting my energy into, the things that are important to me at this time. It's not important for me to win this battle. There's some battles you just don't want to take on, because it's really just a redundant, repeated pattern, and it doesn't go anywhere. That's not the battles you want to take on. The battles that you want to take on are the ones that actually, impact you in a really significant way, whether it changes a course of action or you have to battle for something in court. Like there's something that impacts your values or your belief systems, but you can't change another person's values or belief systems. So there's no sense in getting into dramatic situations where there's going to be a lot of challenge. So the universe is giving you an emotional is giving you a way for you to emotionally find some peace this month, and it is coming through by way of it's like that psychic connection here, or that intuitive blessing. We also have the card of scholarly, cheerful, dependable, mischievous, time to get to work, excellent opportunity presents itself, happy news about your career, promotions or scholarships, a new area of study. So a lot of you might be writing a book, you might be studying, but there is, this is definitely, can also be investments card as well, but I don't see a lot in terms of just the energy around this doesn't feel like, well, it could be investments, like I say, sort of paying off here too, but I feel like there's more study that's involved here and able for something to come forward. But either way, because it is around the clarified by the Knight of Pentacles, so it's really loyal, dedicated, protective, apprehensive, plan carefully before taking action. A lot of cards on planning for you this month, and then you get going. So pay attention to the details and wait for perfect timing. You are being watched over by someone who by someone special. So, but again, this is very slow, methodical energy with the Knights. This is somebody who, you're not just, if you're looking over a contract, you're not just signing on the dotted line. You're looking at the details. You're slowing it down, because sometimes in the fine print, it is the smallest of things that are, that are put in there that may work against you, because generally a contract is put in favor of another and not yourself. So if you're the one that's putting out the contract, for sure, the whole idea is to kind of leverage something so that you are protected. So just be aware of that. And then of course we are finally getting to the last one here, which is the King of Swords. So could be dealing with a Libra energy, Gemini as well, air sign. So intelligent, impartial, respected, stoic, receiving wise advice, remain objective and fair-minded, public speaking, communicate clearly, unemotional relationships, or being emotionally unavailable. So I feel for the most part, this is where you're at. You're just in a space of, I'm not really interested in connecting with people right now. I just want to be on my own. I mean, there is still people around to a degree here for sure, but I feel like your overall energy is you just want to be slowing things down. And the Magician also speaks to, magic being alive in your life here. You've got all the things that you need to do to make something work, and for things to manifest and for it to be a success. You just have to believe that you can do it. And it's not that you haven't put something out there where you didn't believe. It's more that you have to believe that you can go the extra mile with the situation, because this is, you fighting you in the month of March. And again, the Magician is a really powerful card. So this is, you just need to have a lot more faith in your situation, a lot more faith in the path, because you are in a place where you've done a lot to get to this point. And whether it's turned out the way you wanted it to or not, remember that every skill set that you acquire can also take something in a totally different direction than you expected, and it can still be a success. Maybe not in the way that you had expected it, and a lot of times we don't even really know how that will manifest. We know that what we think it should look like, but again, this is about you discovering yourself as you manifest as well. So just to kind of break it down a little bit more here, but for the most part, I think I've covered a lot of the cards here. Well, actually, maybe we'll just go right to the advice cards here, and then I'll sort of break it down a little bit more. But we've again got the Magician repeated. And again, we've got that Three of Gabriel, sort of the Three of Wands energy. A lot of threes in there too. And then we've got change your life. You are in a space of dramatically changing your life. So these are basically the advice cards here with the Magician. Definitely in a space of, making some dramatic differences in what you're wanting this month. And again, you can manifest the life you want, and what you need will magically appear. Successful beginnings. So you are about to move into this space. This is sort of the advice cards. So again, you've got a lot of new projects that it's just the start of things. And again, when I say the start of things, I mean, it can be something you've worked on and then it's just ready to start in another phase of its development. And then it gets to another phase of its development, which is another new beginning. But again, this is still having the resources and the skill, but you're underestimating yourself in terms of your skill or your knowledge. And so you don't feel really prepared for what's ahead. And again, it's not necessarily going to be a safe and secure road for sure, but it is dependent on a lot of the guidance and the supportive networks that you have around you to move things forward and to make things successful, because success is not built on our own. It is something that is a path of focused, and like you can certainly you require the focused action, the skill, and the confidence, but the creative solutions. But we also level it up when we involve other people, and that's really what a lot of the threes are. The Three of Gabriel still speaks to the same. This is about leveling it up, still involving other people, but there's still a waiting process when it comes to this. So And it's been repeated in more than one way here. So prosperity arising from wise planning, taking the time to take the next step. Optimistic plans will turn out as expected. So know that you are ready to move forward with something. You've made some good choices here, and whether or not you know it, it is still something that you still have to plan for the next step and the next step and the next step. But again, it's ready for the next phase of development. So you just need to understand this is for you to review your options, create a plan of action. Even though you're going through some emotional upheaval, which seems to be on the emotional front here, just know that there's a really optimistic time ahead here, and I feel like that's going to re-energize you as well. So you just need to have patience. So take that time just to slow it down and organize yourself. Whether or not you take all the plan of action that you document this month, sometimes just journaling out feelings on something can help to release it as well. But it's better to really reviewing who you are, or who you think you are right now, and realizing that you're not that same person. After all of this energy and the stuff that you've gone through, you can't handle your problems in the same way as you used to, because you're in a place now of, you have to release this negative energy to be able to shift into this new energy, and able to change your life. You're leaving behind those old belief systems. You're leaving behind your old way of doing things. They're outdated. It's no longer effective for you to solve your problems. It's not going to be effective for you to grow and evolve. It's not going to be allowing you to embrace a new direction. And so you have to, if you constantly ruminated over the same thing repeatedly, you're intensifying that belief system, you're intensifying that anger, you're intensifying that emotion. So again, unable to transform, you are in this place now where you're starting to awaken. This is why the change of this is why the change your life card, because you are going into a place that's going to offer you a lot more freedom up ahead. So final cards out. Okay, so these were, actually, I'll do it in the order that I originally had them. Okay, so we've got the card of the mind, the card of traveling, and the card of turning in. And this one, as I said, I'm going to read this one from the book because it is a little bit more heavy. So the card of the mind. I have to look for this, so hopefully you can be patient with me while I search it out here. Okay, so we're almost there. And a few more seconds here. Okay. I'm in the zone. We're not quite there yet, but I am close. So this is about, this card kind of speaks to mastering something here. So mastering your mind by the looks of it. Sorry guys for the delay. I should have actually done this a little bit differently, but is what it is. All right, hold on a second here. Maybe I'll do this in a separate video so it's not so time consuming. Just going to take one last look here in the beginning. Okay, got it. Okay, so mastering of the mind is considered Page of Clouds. And that one is, here we are. Sorry for delay. Okay, so the situation is obviously one that's in your head. It is, I see cycle, handles, and petals and strange things that you've gathered from everywhere, such as a small head and no space to live in. And that rubbish goes on moving around in your head. So your head goes on spinning and weaving, and it keeps you occupied. Just think, what kind of thoughts go on inside your mind? So one day, just sit, close your doors, write down for half an hour whatsoever is passing in your mind, and you will understand what I mean. You'll be surprised what goes on inside your mind. It remains in the background. It is constantly there. It surrounds you like a cloud. With this cloud, you cannot know reality. You cannot attain to spiritual perception. This cloud has to be dropped, and it is just with your decision to drop it that it will disappear. You are clinging to it. The cloud is not interested in you. Remember it. Okay, so this is what happens when we forget that the mind is meant to be a servant and it starts to allow it to run our lives. The head is filled with mechanisms, the mouth is ranting and raving, and the whole surrounding atmosphere is being polluted by this factory of arguments and opinions. But wait, you say, the mind is what makes us human. It's the source of all progress, all great truths. If you believe that, try an experiment. Go into your room, shut the door, turn on a tape recorder, and give yourself total permission to say whatever it is that's on your mind. If you really allow it to all come out without any censorship or editing, you'll be amazed at the amount of rubbish that comes spewing forth. The page of clouds is telling you that somebody somewhere is stuck in a head trip. Take a look and make sure it isn't you. Okay, well, we already know you're in there. So then we have got the card of, sorry, just pulling this one forward. Just need a second to find this one, traveling. Few more seconds there. Okay, so the card of traveling, I suspect, is a sword energy. Sorry, almost there, guys. Actually, let's go into turning in because I found that one faster here. So we'll start with, that is a Four of Water card. And that one is about... Okay, so that one should be about reflection or something along that line here, but what we've got is strangely not the one I was looking for there. Hold on. Appreciate your patience. Sorry, guys. There it is. Okay, so turning in. All right, turning in. The woman in this image has a faint smile on her face. In fact, she's just watching the antics of the mind, not judging, not trying to stop them, not identified, just watching, as if they were traffic on the road or ripples on the surface of a pond. This is actually sort of akin to, as they say, mindfulness. So it's, you know, not identifying with a problem, but just allowing it to go through you. Yes, this is happening in my life. It's just an energy that's going through me. Whatever the pain is I feel is not really attaching to me. It's just how I hear a voice in my head, but it's not going to stop me from moving on during the day, kind of thing, is really what mindfulness is. Sort of, okay, my poor example, but is really how it sort of how it kind of runs through the body rather than attaching it to your, because a lot of times when we have a problem, we attach it to ourselves. We say, oh, it's because I'm not good enough, or I'm not strong enough, or I'm not fast enough, whatever, I'm not skilled enough. We try to attach it to our personality, but it's really just an energy of, oh, here's a cue that we need to focus more on, how to write better, or how to put a car back together better or faster, or execute a sport activity in a more methodical way, or whatever. Again, I suck at examples, but nonetheless, this is sort of really what it's speaking to. So again, the woman in the image, faint smile on her face, identified, not identified, just watching as if it was traffic on the road or ripples on the surface of a pond. And the antics of the mind are slightly amusing as it jumps up and down and twists this way and that, trying to get your attention and seduce you into the game. To develop the knack of taking distance from the mind is one of the greatest blessings. It is what meditation is all about. not chanting a mantra or repeating an affirmation, but just watching as if the mind belongs to somebody else. In other words, being objective. You are ready to take this distance now and to watch the show without getting caught up in the drama. Indulge yourself in the simple freedom of turning in whenever you can, and the knack of meditation will grow and deepen you. So it's also about, was one other thing that there's another way of kind of working through some issues. Sometimes when we have nowhere to really project it, again, we start to project it into our body and onto ourself. Sometimes a better way of dealing with the projection is to see it on a movie screen. You've got two screens, two white screens, where there's a blue frame around one, a white frame around another with a shimmer or something, whatever, however you want to make it appealing. And when you've got two movie screens, the one is the path that you want to, where you see yourself. Let's say it's the blue screen, the blue frame around the white screen, and you see yourself as you want to see yourself, like you're already successful, you're traveling, whatever it is for you. And then on the old screen, you see the old self, and it's the one that's almost faint, but the picture is there and it's just rolling through on the screen, but you're not really identifying with it, because over there on the other side with the blue screen, that's a lot more of a neon blue or whatever that sparks your attention. That one it's more action packed and more, it draws more of your attention. So sometimes it helps to create a distinction between your thoughts that way, to sort of break a pattern and interrupt the thought pattern. So anyway, turning inwards is not a turning at all. Going inwards is not going at all. Turning inwards simply means that you have been running after this desire and that, and you've been running and running, and you've been coming again and again to frustration, that each desire brings misery, that there is no fulfillment through desire, that you never reach anywhere, that contentment is possible or is impossible. So seeing this truth, that running after desires take you nowhere, you stop. Not that you make any effort to stop. If you make any effort to stop it again, running in a subtle way, you are still desiring. So maybe now it is desireless that you desire. So if you're making an effort to go in, you are still going out. Any effort can only take you outwards. All journeys are outward journeys. There is no inward journey. How can you journey inwards? You are already there. There is no point in going. When going stops, journeying stops. When desiring is no more clouding your mind, you are in. This is called turning in. But it is not a turning at all. It is simply not going out. So again, it's just really being mindful about the things that you desire. Try not to attach, a level of progress is the most important thing of anything. As long as you're making, it's progress, not perfection, is really a statement that I've heard, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, the whole point is to progress, to progress and be better than you were before. It's not about, did it go exactly as I expected? No, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of challenges out there, and you can't be in control of all of those elements. So there's no reason why you should down yourself for not seeing something culminate, because a lot of other people may have had more support. Doesn't mean that you would have taken any other path. You take the path that makes you feel more secure and realize that you have more talents than you did before. That is the path of growth. So I just want to do the last card out here, which is traveling. And again, that was a repeated one here as well. There was a lot in around, there was at least three cards there that I remember relating around that. So there might be some of you wanting to travel at this time, but it is still a card of, because of the rest of the cards that were surrounding it, it's still not quite the time for that, but this might be something that you're considering. So to review the card of traveling, and this is our last card, the tiny figure moving on the path through this beautiful landscape is not concerned about the goal. He or she knows that the journey is the goal. The pilgrimage itself is the sacred place. So each step on the path is important in itself. When this card appears in a reading, it indicates a time of movement and change. It may be a physical movement from one place to the next, or an inner movement from one way of being to another. But whatever the case, the card promises that going that the going will be easy and will bring a sense of adventure and growth, and there's no need to struggle or plan too much. The traveling card also reminds us to accept and embrace the new, just as when we travel to another country with a different culture and environment than the one that we're accustomed to. This attitude of openness and acceptance invites new friends and experiences into our lives. I'm almost done with the card there, but that is exactly what this whole reading was really about. So these final cards out really just kind of condense down the meaning of all of the previous. So again, there is life is a continuity, always and always. There is no final destination. It is going towards just the pilgrimage, just the journey in itself is life. Not reaching to some point, no goal, just dancing and being in pilgrimage, moving joyously without bothering about any destination. Because the thing is about a destination, as soon as you get to that place, you're ready for the next challenge. So what will you do by getting to a destination? Nobody has asked this, because everybody is trying to have some destination in life. But the implication, if you really reach the destination of life, then what? Then you look very embarrassed, nowhere to go. You have reached the final destination. So really the journey of life is just the journey. And in the journey, you have lost everything. So that's why you have to continue to lose everything so that you can begin the next journey. And that is what it says. You had to lose everything. So standing naked at the final destination, you will look all around like an idiot. What was the point? You were hurrying so hard and you were worrying so hard, and this is the outcome. And that's why the journey is the journey. You always have to just live in the moment, enjoy everything that you're learning, enjoy the people you're around, enjoy the process. Yes, there's hardships that get there, but if it wasn't a bit of a challenge, then we usually wouldn't feel a level of success or relief and a sense of freedom when we finally got to learn all of the aspects of the path. So anyway, that's what I have for you, Gemini. And like I said, you're in a place of transformation, huge, but like I said, you've got so many amazing things to look forward to. You're developing your skill set at a horrendous rate here by the looks of it, because there's been a lot of push through to get to this place. So your mind is the only thing you just need to relax and free up and step into the next journey, and just keep taking it small incremental step after small incremental step. And again, you'll get your energy back when you get out of your head. Okay, so that's what I have for you. Keep moving forward. Do not ever give up. Life is a journey.